Hi everyone and good morning. Sorry. So we can start our firewall demo and we'll continue. So yesterday class we discussed about overall dashboard information. In the today class we can discuss about a network and also routing part. Then if time permits, then I will explain about even policies and objects also. Okay, so second tab in the Fortinet firewall is network. Under this network, mainly we can use this network for the integration with the DNS server and also integrating with the proxy server, then creating the static route or dynamic route or any routing part. Those cases we will use this network tab. Even if you want to diagnose something or troubleshoot or something or debugging something, we can use this particular option. Okay, so network tab, interfaces configuration purpose, active primary DNS and secondary DNS integration, and also proxy server integration, and finally routing part. Additionally, even troubleshooting purpose we can use. Okay, so yesterday we have seen this one already. This is one of the example FortiGate hardware module, how it looks like. So every firewall contains one is the management interface and also couple of other interfaces as well. Okay, so these interfaces as per network architecture diagram, you know already, one of the interface we have to configure as a one of the interface we have to configure management interface, and also one of the interface we have to connect it to web application firewall. One of the interface we have to connect to web ISP router. One of the interface we have to connect to non-critical servers, email gateway, core switch, network IDS, network IPS, proxy. So these are all the interfaces we have to configure. So these interfaces also, when you're configuring, we have to assign the static IP. We have to assign the static IP. For aggregated interface, we can assign the dynamic IP also, but static IP, always it's better to assign the static IP. Okay, DHCP also possible, but it's better to assign the static IP because it should not change every time. And also outage should not happen mainly. Okay, so now we can go and we can see interfaces tab. So this is the overall physical hardware device, how it looks like. Whenever any hardware or any interface is going down, there is no need to go to the physical location or data center or on-premise, and we have to troubleshoot. Okay, here itself, we can go and we can see what is the status of the hardware device, whatever it is deployed in the California, United States. Okay, so this is 2000E model number. So these are all management interface 1, management interfaces 2, and these are all the other interfaces. Altogether, we can see 38 interfaces in the 2000E model number. Okay, so whatever green color it is showing as, it is nothing but that interface is configured and it is running successfully. Okay, there are 3 different types status of the interfaces. One is green color, one is ash color, one is red color. So red color is some of the issue is there. Okay, whenever any red color is showing, that means some of the issue is there. Okay, whatever ash color is there, it's not configured yet and it's not connected. And what a green color it is showing, it is configured and also it is working fine. So you can see example interface number 4, interface number 36, and also interface number 38. These interfaces configured successfully and also connected and it is working fine. Okay, couple of interfaces, it will show whenever we are moving the cursor, it will go, it will show as a red color. Those interface, some issues are there. So whatever issues are there interfaces, those interfaces we have to troubleshoot. Okay, so that is about status checking of the interfaces through remotely. So there is no need to one of the field engineer should be there in the on-premise location, and he has to go to the data center for physical location, and he has to verify the physical cable connections related to RJ45 or maybe optical fiber connections. So what is the status of the connections? There is no need to verify manually. Okay, or one dedicated field engineer should not be required. From here itself, we can monitor everything. Okay, so that is about the status of the interfaces information. Now these are all the interfaces are configured in this particular firewall where whatever we are giving the demo. So first one is 802.3 AD. This is called aggregated interface. 802.3 AD. This is IEEE basically word. IEEE terminology. 802.3 AD is called as aggregated interface. Okay. So if I'm clicking on this one, so now we can go and we can see what is the aggregated interface from where to where they configured. So what is the interface name? Interface name they given as a aggregated interface. Okay. So and alias they give an aggregated interface once again. Type is 802.3AD. 3AD. This is IEEE form. Okay. Address this one they given from the port switch. So this range of the address is netmask. Okay, IP address is 169.254.1.1. It's on the public IP purchased by the Portnet vendor, and this is the subnet mask. Okay, so there are different ways this IP address can be assigned or it can come. So one is manual way, one is DHCP server, one is auto managed by IP address management (IPAM), one is dedicated to port switch. Switch is configured as a so this particular aggregated interface. So whenever that IP address enable, it can take either of this one of the range 169.254.1.2, 169.254.1.254. Any one of the IP address it can take. And default gateway. So default gateway meaning here from this particular interface or from this firewall, what is next hop? When you say next hop, next router or next gateway information. Okay. So DNS server. So DNS server we can see in the couple of minutes, within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and least time. So how much time they have taken this DHCP IP address within the range of the aggregated interface. So they have taken these many seconds. Okay. If you are dividing by 60, then you will come to know. So how many hours? Okay. So 1,800 hours or something it will come, right? So that is about how to configure the interface. So first, each and every interface we have to configure. Now go back to interfaces now. We can go and see one more interface. Example, high availability. HA means high availability. As I said, even in the at the time of deployment, at the time of deployment, one of the interface we can configure as a high availability interface or dedicated high availability interfaces will be there. Okay, so example, out of 38 interfaces, we can use one of the interfaces as a high availability interface. Otherwise, dedicated interfaces will be there. Those interfaces also we can configure, our choice. So just click on this one. So name of the interface is HA and the alias is HA once again availability. So role is LAN. So whatever interface for high availability configured as a LAN. Under this one, we have different types of zones configured. One is LAN, one is WAN, one is DMZ. So LAN is nothing but internal or a trust. WAN is nothing but public or internet or untrust or external. SD-WAN, one of the policies they configured. SD-WAN. SD-WAN is nothing but internet facing related policy. Okay, so in the Palo Alto terminology, they will say trust, untrust, and DMZ. In the Fortinet terminology, they will say LAN, WAN, DMZ. LAN means internal or trust. WAN means internet or public or external. Okay, so DMZ means DMZ only. So these are the three different types of interfaces or zones wherever this interface is configured. So HA port is configured or HA interface is configured, one of the LAN interface. Okay, one of the LAN interface because it is internal related what we are not exposing to the public. Address mode. So nothing but IP address allocation. It's a manual 0.0.0.0. So that is the IP address. So IPv6 is not required because we are using IPv4. You can see administrative access. What is meant by administrative access? Whenever this interface is going down, okay, whenever this interface is going down, if you want to troubleshoot, okay, then you can enable whatever services it is required. Example, I want to use ping command, then I can enable. Example, If this interface want to check whether it is up or not, or running or not, so I will use ping command, right? So then I will use 0.0.00. So this is the interface they configured. So now from uh, our command prompt or our command line interface, if are pinging, okay, so 0.0.0, wherever this firewall is located, if it is pingable means that particular interface is up and running, nothing but active or inactive. Okay, so even if we want to access that interface through SSH like a putty, then we have to use this one. If you want to access that interface through web terminal, we have to enable HTTPS and so on. Okay, most of the people what they will do, so they will enable ping command, SNMP command, and HTTPS command. So these are the couple of, okay, so interfaces services they will enable. Why? Because whenever the interface is going down, instead of going one of the physical engineer or field engineer to check what is the status of the cable connections in the data center or on premise, so directly through remote using command line interface, we can go and we can check whether that interface is up or down, running or not, active or passive. So that's why we have to enable all these respective services, whatever it is required. I will show practically in the policies configuration. Okay. So IPv6 anyway, it is not applicable. And LLDP. LLDP means link layer discovery protocol. Link layer discovery protocol. And it will identify what all the different types of devices are there in the entire network. Discovery. So for discovery purpose, which protocol we will use? Discovery. For discovery of the network devices, which protocol we will use? Along with LLDP. For discovering of the network devices, along with LLDP, one more protocol we will use. What is that?
NAMP.
Sorry? No.
Sir, NAMP.
No. SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. This protocol port number 161 using community string version 3, nothing but encrypted username and password. If you are enabling this one, then we can come to know that. So what are the network devices are there, along with even it can manage all those devices. Okay, one is LLDP, second one is SNMP. For discovery, in future we can discuss about Nessus tool, vulnerability management. There, okay, we have to enable SNMP as well to identify what are the devices are there or asset inventory is there. Okay, use VDOM setting. What in VDOM means virtual domain. Virtual domain. So if anything, if you want to do the resolution of the domain address, we will configure virtual DOM. Okay, just will enable that, sir. So from this portigate.portidemo.com, it will go to DNS server. From the DNS server, it will resolute the respect to domain name. From there, it will go to the our external public domain, whatever we are trying to access. Okay, so remaining everything by default, we can keep it as it is. Okay, so this is the way how to configure the interface. Who will configure the interface? Implementation team. Implementation team. If we want example, you purchase this device. Okay, you purchase this hardware device or maybe virtual device. You want to configure from the scratch. When I say from the scratch, so you are implementation guy and you have to assign one of the management IP. You want to assign one of the management 1 or management 2 and high availability 1, high availability 2 and all other interfaces. First and foremost, what exactly you will do, you will assign the management IP. After assigning the management IP, you can access the device through remotely. Later, you can integrate with our DNS server. Then other interfaces we will configure. First thing is we have to configure the interfaces. Okay. So what are our LAN interfaces are there? What are WAN interfaces are there? Okay. What are our DMZ interfaces are there? And what is the IP address we have to allocate? That classification and that requirement we have to gather. Okay. Once interfaces are configured, it's very simple, guys. Once you configure the interfaces and also once you integrate it with the, okay, so DNS server, once you are integrating with the, okay, proxy server, proxy is not a mandatory to integrate. In case if you are required, then you can integrate. If you are using our organization level proxy, they can integrate. Otherwise, not required. So one is interface is a mandatory first and foremost. Second one is so managing the device through remotely. Management type we have to enable. High availability configuration we have to do. Next one, DNS server integration we have to do. Later, static routes or dynamic routes or other routing protocols we have to configure. If are configuring this one, firewall will work very fine. Okay, it's very simple, not that much difficult also. Firewall implementation not that much difficult. It is simple only. One or two times you are configuring, it is easy. Even policies configurations also, we no need to define. We have to contact different stakeholders. When you say different stakeholders in the organization, other team members, which applications are critical, which applications are non-critical. So which application who has to access. That entire information we can configure. Only main thing is routing is very, very important. When you say routing, so once your firewall is deployed, you have to go and you have to see so whether all the internet facing applications working or not. Okay, after implementing the firewall, after implementing the routing part, so we have to ask all the application development team or stakeholders what are applications on daily basis you are accessing, whether all those applications working or not. If all these applications are working or not, that means firewall is fully fine and it is working fine. Okay. So it is not that much difficult also, firewall implementation as compared to EDR. Okay. Come back now. So interfaces configuration, this one in such a way, we have to first we have to gather the requirement. So okay, when you say gather the requirement, what are the interfaces we have to monitor? What are the network traffic we have to monitor? That information we have to gather. Okay, so whoever is client is there, or what are applications we have, what are servers we have. So inbound traffic, outbound traffic, we have to gather the requirement. Okay, so that information you are gathering, then it is easy to configure the interfaces. IP address also we can ask them network admin team, network engineer team. Please provide the IP address. They will give the IP address also. Okay, so in such a way we have to configure all these interfaces, whatever it is required. So as per network architecture diagram, you can keep in mind that network architecture diagram always. One of the interfaces we have to give the WAF. Okay. So one of the interface we have to give to ISP router. One of the interface we have to give to email gateway. One of the interface we have to give to non-critical servers. One of the interface we have to give to core switch. One of the interface we have to give to the NADS and APS. One of the interface we have to go to proxy. If you want additional interfaces, yes, we can configure additional interfaces also. Okay. So each and every interface IP address we have to assign. Okay. So that is about how to configure the interfaces. Whatever I'm saying, this implementation, guys. This implementation. Next one is DNS server. So DNS integration basically. Okay, so from whom we have to ask this one? Obviously, we have to ask a DNS team. What are the primary DNS we have? What are the public DNS we have? So we have to integrate always our private internal servers. So that is primary DNS server, secondary DNS server. So at the time of DNS server topic itself, I told you. So there are two different types of DNS servers. One is public and private. Public is publicly facing DMZ, we can put it DNS server. Private, you can put in the trust zone or critical zone or server LAN. Okay. So publicly facing domain validation can be, or domain resolution can be done by our public DNS, and private DNS resolution can be done by our critical servers where our server LAN is configured. Whatever I'm saying, everything network architecture diagram only. I'm not saying anything additional. Okay. So we have server LAN, we have all the core switch, access switch, NADS, NAPS, proxy, firewall, okay, ISP router, internet. That is what there itself I'm okay. So saying everything, all this topic, all whenever we want to discuss about firewall, always we have to keep in the network architecture diagram. Okay, so then we have to ask our DNS server IP address. So primary example is primary. This is secondary. So this is one is primary, one is backup. In case primary is failing down, secondary will come into picture. Okay. So domain name portdemo.com. So this is one of the fully qualified domain name they configure in the DNS server for DNS resolution. Okay, DNS protocols, you know, DNS is working on 53. Okay, TCP 853 and HTTPS 443 and certificates. So SSL TLS certificates we discussed, nothing but whatever certificates they are using this certificate. So this certificate is from, what are the two different types of certificates we have? What are the two different types of certificates we have? Anyone?
Internal certificates and CA certificates.
Yeah, internal is called self-signed. Internal certificate also called self-signed certificate. Second one is purchased CA certificate from third-party vendor. Yes, those are all the two certificates. So this certificate, whatever they are using, it's a self-signed certificate. How I'm saying it's a self-signed certificate. Fortinet factory. Fortinet factory, they have generated the certificate from the directly Fortinet tool itself. They're not purchasing from the vendor. And the server host name, wherever the certificate is hosted, that particular server name is this one. So this firewall is hosted, or this certificate is hosted one of the server. That server name is global dns.fortinet. Okay, .net. So here you can see Forti demo. They given the name. They given the name of the certificate. So factory example, Fortinet factory they given. And yeah, that is the integration. Mainly these two things are important. These two. How to generate this the certificate? I will show part of SSL TLS. Down it is there. Okay, so these are all the uh, primary DNS server, secondary DNS server. If you have any doubt how to do and what to do and so on, always here setup guides also will be there. Okay, so how to configure, what is meant by this one, or what is meant by local DM domain name, what is meant by certificates. We can go and we can take the help also. Okay, relevant documentation through online. Next one is DNS server, same thing once again. So already we integrated DNS server, so same information it will show. Okay. Next one, IPM, IP address management. IP address management, okay, managing of all the IPs, whatever it is coming in the Fortinet firewall. Okay, so if you want to manage instead of dedicated DNS server, we discussed a DDI solution. DDI means DNS, DHCP, IP address management. It's very beginning part, networking concepts, IP address management. So instead of, if you want to use the DNS server or DHCP server as a IP address management, even Fortinet firewall has an option of IP address management also. We can manage all those firewalls, all those interfaces, all those IP addresses. So that is called IP address management. Okay. So next one is explicit proxy, nothing but proxy server. Okay. How to integrate proxy server to the our firewall. So just you can provide explicit web proxy, and you can provide the listen on which interface you want to listen this proxy. If you want to listen for every interface, just don't click on every, I mean, don't select any interface, every interface. HTTP port number, use HTTP port here. What is HTTP port number for a proxy? What is port number for HTTP proxy?
843, sir.
843,
80.
80, 80, 80, 80. 8080, we discussed part of SOFO CDR tool. I already updated sheet also. Okay. 8080 is proxy port number. Okay. So use HTTP port means by default port. Okay. By default port, communication port for HTTP proxy is HTTP port number is 8080. Okay. So next one is proxy fully qualified domain name. Okay. So that domain name we have to provide here. Okay. So next one, HTTP request length. So by default, you can put as it is. There is no need to change anything. Remaining thing, everything you can put as it is. Okay. So here we are providing the proxy FQDN, nothing but it is not supporting IP address. Most of our tools, either IP address we can enter, or maybe we can enter the host name or fully qualified domain name. So if we are providing the fully qualified domain name or IP address, so automatically this firewall is integrated to our FortiGate, sorry, our proxy server. So the same thing we have seen, SMTP server integration and also Active Directory integration. Okay. Proxy integration in Sophos CDR tool. Same concept here also. Sophos CDR also we have seen Active Directory integration. There we have to provide the IP address or host name and also client secret. Okay, so that is about Active Directory integration to Sophos CDR tool. There we can see SMTP server integration also. SMTP host name or fully qualified day name, IP address, port number 25. There we have seen DNS server integration also. So even there we have seen proxy server integration also. That is what I said. For every tool, we will integrate three different types of servers always. One is Active Directory, one is a DNS server, one is SMTP server. Active Directory integration, mapping of the users to the respective IP address. So that's why we'll integrate with Active Directory. SMTP server, why we'll integrate with every tool? To receive the alert notification. And primary DNS and secondary DNS, every tool why we'll integrate? To resolute or to convert domain name into IP address. Proxy depends. Okay, proxy also we can see whenever any website is trying to access the end user, first it will go to the proxy. Proxy will forward to the firewall. Firewall, it will forward to the external traffic or external websites. Okay, so these four servers always we will integrate with every tool, every security tool. Okay, one is Active Directory, second one is DNS server, third one is SMTP server, fourth one is proxy server. So these four servers. So this is the Active Directory, sorry, this is the proxy server integration. Next one is SD-WAN. SD-WAN, here WAN interface. WAN meaning here internet facing interface. Nothing but ISP router interface. As per network architecture diagram, so internet facing interface is nothing but WAN. This is also called untrust. Okay, so this is also called as a public. This is also called as a external. This is also called internet. Okay, so SD-WAN. So in case if we have more than one zone or more than one interface, then we can configure that respective zones here. Example, virtual WAN link interface. Okay, so then performance SLA. Performance SLA meaning here several times in theoretical part I told you latency jitter, latency jitter, latency jitter. Latency means how much time it will delay. Jitter means bandwidth utilization. Packet loss means how much packet is dropping the bytes. 4 packets you are sending, how many packets are received, how many packets are closed. I mean, how many packets are sent, how many packets are received. Okay, the packet loss, latency, jitter, all these part of performance for any firewall. Delay also. Delay is nothing but latency only. Delay is nothing but latency. SD-WAN rules. So if you want to create any rules dedicated to internet facing, then we can use this option. But most of the cases we'll use based on the source and destination and based on the IP address. And also we have to provide any. Whatever internal traffic it is going, it has to go to the internet using this interface only. Implicitly allow this one. Okay. In the policies and objects tab, implicitly deny tab is there. That one I will show you later. Static routes. So now so far what we completed? We completed interface configuration. We completed DNS configuration or DNS integration. We completed, okay, so proxy integration. Okay, and also internet facing role. So these are all the 4 things we completed. Interfaces configuration, DNS integration, proxy integration, and WAN rule configuration. Next one is a routing. Okay, so that is about overall network. In the routing wise, so where this information we have to get? Who will provide this information to you? Anyone? So routing part, who will provide to us? You want to
Networking
configure
admin.
the yes, network admin or network engineer team. So we have to ask network engineering guy, whoever is taking care of the routing and switching, or network admin guy, he will take care of the routing part. So internal to external, what is the routing? So when you say routing from trust to untrust, what is the flow? Example, access switch 10.10.10.1, core switch 10.10.2. So next one is network IDs, network IPs 10.10.3, proxy 10.10.4, firewall 10.10.5, ISP router. So some public IP. In this way, that routing we have to ask. So that is about this routing, basically. Internal to external, how the routing is going on. Okay. In the cloud terminology, 0.0.0.0 means internet. In the cloud terminology, 0.0.0.0 means internet facing. Internet facing. This is the internet. So 172.30.72.254. Okay. So this is WAN interface. Okay, this is WAN interface enabled. So in the similar way, ISW. ISFW means internal or internet service firewall. FW means firewall. Okay. So this is the routing we have to ask. Okay, from where to where it has to go. Then we have to define the route. Whatever they provide, just copy paste. That's all. This information will be provided by respective network admin guys. Okay. Just we have to copy paste. That's it from our side. Routing they will give normally. This is the static route. In case if we want to enable static route, we have to use this option. See, there are multiple routing options we have. One is static route, one is policy route, one is routing information protocol, OSPF protocol, BGP protocol, multicast protocol, routing objects. These many different types of routing protocols it is supporting. Either of the one you can use. It's not a mandatory. Every routing protocol we have to configure. This is static route configuration. If you want to use OSPF, then we can configure OSPF. It's not a mandatory. Every routing we have to configure. Okay. So here they configure static route. That's why in the dashboard, so routing they showing it is showing as static and connected. So that means this routing is connected. This routing connected. This is a static route. One of the dashboard they created for the routing. One of the dashboard in the dashboard tab we already discussed yesterday. One of the dashboard is configured for the routing part. There we have seen static. That means, so this is the thing they configured. In the dashboard, we are able to monitor. Okay. Next one is a policy routes. So as I said, it's not a mandatory. Every routing we have to configure. Either of the one we have to configure. Okay. Out of all these, we can configure one routing. That's more than sufficient. Either you can configure static route or policy route or RIP route or YSPP or BGP. Okay. So most of the cases we can configure either static or OSPF only. Okay. So this is policy route. Policy meaning based on the role wise configuring. Okay. So one of the entire question. So policy based routing, PBR, policy based routing and static routing. Okay. So which one you will configure? Either of the one we can configure. It's not a mandatory two we can configure. One is PBR routing, policy based routing. Second one is static route. Okay. So we can configure any one of them. Okay. It's not a mandatory. We have to configure. So a static route or policy route. So incoming interface we have to define if you want to configure the policy route, and outgoing interface, ISP router interface, and source, what is the IP address of the incoming interface, destination IP address information. So then automatically routing will happen. We have to specify the incoming interface, outgoing interface, source, nothing but source, IP address of the incoming interface, destination, outgoing interface, IP address. Okay. So RIP, what is the RIP drawback? Routing information protocol drawback. Day before yesterday we discussed. RIP, routing information protocol, drawback. All these things we discussed, correct?
It supports only 15 knobs, sir.
Perfect. It support only 15 hops. That means in between, okay, internal zone to the external zone, nothing but trust zone to untrust zone. If we have more than 50 routers are there, it will not support RIP protocol. Meaning here, so in the static route example, whatever information provided by our network admin and network engineering guys, if it is more than 15 routers information they provided, in case RIP will not support. If it is less than 15 routing information is showing as internal to external as per network architecture diagram, that will support RIP. Okay. Okay, it's more than 15 routers, it will not support. So routing information protocol, that is the drawback. We are not using at all RIP. Initially, whoever scientists they found out, they've identified RIP protocol. Okay. So next one is OSPF, Open Shortest Path First. Open Shortest Path First. So this is one of the very popular routing protocol. Most of the organizations, 90% of the organizations, they will use OSPF only. Okay. So OSPF router, OSPF routing. So this information also we have to get it from the once again network routing guys. Okay, router ID. So whatever ID, whatever routers we have, that router ID information we have to ask. Area ID. There are three different types of areas are there. Stub area, totally stub area, and also normal area. Area, stub area, totally stub area. Okay. So these are the three different types of areas will be supported by OSPF protocol. See, you no need to remember anything because I am certified CCNA, CCNP, CCIE. I know all these concepts. Okay. So this information we have to get it from the network engineering guys. That's all. Or network routing guys. You no need to get any information from the firewall level. You are security person, not a routing person or switching person. Okay, this information we have to get it from the respective network admin or network engineer. So if you're asking, then he will provide all those information. I want to configure in firewall as a OSPF route. Just please provide it. Then he will provide router ID information, area ID, type. There are 7 types of the types we have. Under OSPF, there are 7 types: LSA1, LSA2, LSA3, LSA4, LSA5, LSA6, LSA7. Okay. So that authentications. So all this information will be provided by admin guy itself. So this is way how we have to configure. And the name of the interface, name of the respective interface, and interface IP address, cost, apply to IP authentication, summary address. So all these advertisement distance, AD. So initially at the time of we discussed about routing in voice layers, AD I said advertisement distance. So that advertisement distance here. Okay. So these information we have to provide, remaining everything by default, we have to put as it is. There is no need to change anything. Okay. This is same as this is what I'm saying, LSA. Okay, link state authentication. Link state authentication. So this is everything is by fixed by default as it is. We no need to change anything. So this type 1 LSA, this is type 2 LSA, metric wise, distance wise. So what is the distance value? 10. Okay. So this information we have to get it. So already static route is configured. That's why we are not able to see anything here. Okay. So most popular routing protocol in the organization or anywhere in the market, OSPF. It will connect multiple countries. It will connect multiple location. It will connect multiple cities. It will connect multiple continents as well. BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. So Border Gateway Protocol we have to configure. Why? Because we have to get the internet. Border Gateway Protocol. We have to get, if we want to get the internet, we have to configure BGP. Okay. So in the internet also, we should not choose same internet service provider. Example, if you're using primary as Airtel, backup you have to choose as a Vodafone. If you're using primary as a Vodafone, then backup you have to choose a Airtel and vice versa, and so on, Geo and so on. Okay. So 10.10.10.3 IP address of the BGP router and remote AS. So this is okay. So total overall advertisement distance by default is constant. BGP by default advertisement distance is constant, that is 65,400. If you are going to network routing interview, they will ask all these questions. But we are not applying for routing jobs. We are applying for security jobs, network security. So one more thing, don't apply routing jobs. If you are applying for routing jobs and example, RIP developer, OSPF development, BGP development. So these are all the routing product, L3 development and L2 development. Okay, so I will give maybe couple of give me 5 minutes. I'll explain what is meant by that one. So BGP about okay, so internet getting the internet. So what is the IP address they configure? 10.10.10.10.10.1.3. Okay, so they are using only one ISP router. But in case if they are using one more ISP router, they have to configure one more ISP router here. Okay. Yeah, so these are all the different types of routes. So in the routing wise, static routes they configured, remaining they did not touch also. So static route they configured, policy route they did not configure, RIP they did not configure, OSP also they did not configure because already static route is configured here. Okay, routing objects. Routing objects also no need to configure. So here, whatever objects or whatever interfaces we are configuring, that object interfaces information we have to provide. So this is also no need to configure anything. Just leave it. Multicast. If you don't want to use as a static route, then we have to use multicast routing. Multicast routing. So that information also, multicast routing IP address information, we have to get it from once again network routing team or network admin guy or network engineering guys. Okay. So yeah, as I said, out of all these routes, static route, policy route, RIP, RIP, OSP, or BGP, routing objects, multicast. Okay, so one is routing purpose we have to configure. One is to get the internet. To get the internet, we have to configure BGP, and to route from internal zone to external zone or untrust zone or internet zone, we have to define the route. In that scenario, either you can go with the static route, either you can go with the policy route, either you can go with RIP or OSPF or multicast. Out of five, we can configure one. It's not a mandate. All five we have to configure. Okay, option. All these are options. Okay, because small, medium, and also enterprise level organizations we have, right? Small, medium, enterprise level organizations we have. Small organizations will configure RIP or static route. Okay, enterprise level we can configure so policy route or static or OSPF. It depends. So that's why by default they given all these different types of routes. Okay, so coming back, I said like okay, don't apply these type of jobs whenever you are getting jobs related to example routing. Okay, so RIP routing or OSPF or BGP or EIGRP, okay, IGRP. So routing related job vacancies don't apply. This is network engineering guy. Okay, this is not a security at all. This is not a security. We have to log into the routers. We have to configure all these configurations. We have to log into the router. Either we have to configure RIP protocol, OSPF protocol, or BGP, or EIGRP, or IGRP. Okay. So second one also switching protocol. So routing protocol is part of which layer? Routing protocol will come which layer?
Network layer.
Yeah, layer number 3, network layer. This is L3. Okay. So switching is a part of data link layer L2. So what are the different types of protocols will come under switching? So example, we have STP, STP. Next one VRRP, virtual routing redundancy protocol, HSRP, hot standby routing protocol. Okay, so these are all the couple of protocols part of L2. This is L3. So normal jobs also don't apply. And also L3 protocol development, L2 protocol development. All these are L3 protocols. These are all L2 protocols. So development also don't apply. There are two different types of job vacancies. Please don't apply. Why I'm saying and why I'm giving this one, because couple of ex-students they applied. They applied for protocol development. L2 protocol development, L3 protocol development. Whether they know any Java, whether they know any C, C++, otherwise whether they know any other programming languages. Okay. So protocol development meaning here. So we will use couple of programming languages to develop all these protocols backend. How the routing will work. For that one, we have to develop programming languages like Java or microservices, or maybe full stack developer, or maybe C++ or reactive, and so on. Protocol development meaning a backend protocol development. That one of the vacancies don't apply. So especially from Aricent, Cisco, Juniper, so Huawei, HP, IBM. From these companies, we'll get these calls because in the router, in the firewall level, we'll keep all these things. That's why we'll get all those calls as well. Second vacancy, okay, second vacancy, what we should not apply. Routing and switching related vacancies don't apply. So that means you should have the router knowledge and how to configure the router, and you have to the switching knowledge, how to configure the switch. Okay. Only firewall vacancies you can apply. So that is about routing and switching and how to configure. So diagnostics, nothing but debugging. Debugging. Whenever I want to debugging, packet capture. Packet capture we have to do. So packet capture, we can take it from here. I told you several times, even at the time of log integration, syslog server integration. Okay, we discussed about in case firewall logs are not reflecting in the SIM tool, or load balancer logs are not reflecting the SIM tool, or any other log sources logs are not reflecting in the SIM tool. What are the things we have to do? First option, verify the configuration in the log source or SIM tool side. That is the first thing we have to troubleshoot or we have to configure. Second thing is, okay, so we have to do the packet capture. And after doing the packet capture, we have to take the PCAP file. Then we have to go to the network traffic analyzer and we have to analyze. So we have Wireshark tool is there. That is network traffic analyzer. Okay. One more thing, in case these two options also still, okay, logs are not reflecting, third case is we have to raise support ticket. So these are the three options we have to do normally. One is, so verifying the configuration related to logs integration. Second one is, so taking the packet capture TCP dump file and troubleshooting. Third one is, so raising a ticket with the vendor. So these are all the three different types of options. Normally we will take care at the time of logs integration to team SIM tool. And in case logs are not coming or not reflecting in the SIM tool. So there, I said already, in the firewall level, normally we will do the packet capture. Okay. So first we have to identify what is the source IP and what is the destination IP. Example, our source IP is load balancer. Destination IP is SIM tool. Load balancer and SIM tool. Okay. So load balancer logs we integrated to SIM tool. But unfortunately, load balancer logs are not reflecting in SIM tool. In that scenario, what we have to do, we have to come to firewall and we have to select the what is the load balancer interface it is configured. So they'll configure LAN interface. So where is the load balancer will be located? Internal zone. Load balancer will be located internal zone. Okay, so that load balancer interface, whatever we configured as a LAN interface or a trust interface, we have to select that interface. Example, take maybe interface 29, this LAN interface. Example. So port number 4. Okay, then you can start the packet capture. Okay, start packet capture. Now packets are capturing. Nothing but, so whatever that LAN interface traffic is going on, all those packets it will capture now. So then, so at the time of log integration, we have some time will be there. Timeline we can show here. So timeline, headers information, packet data information. Okay. So Fortinet firewall has a even Wireshark integration to the, okay, this particular firewall tool. So Wireshark tool is integrated to Fortinet firewall. We can see the header information. We can see the packet data in the hexadecimal or decimal format and timeline. Okay, all those Wireshark also will do same as it is. It is capturing now packets. If something it is not capturing means traffic is not going on. In case, okay, it is capturing now. This one of the packet. In case, okay, packets are not reflecting here. In that interface, packets are not going, are not coming as incoming and outbound traffic. This arrow mark, if you are clicking on, it will show down window, but unfortunately it is not showing. And here timeline. So example, I integrated load balancer logs at 10 o'clock. We have to choose, we are doing the packet capture. We have to select the 10 o'clock. Okay. And IP address of the load balancer, we have to select source IP. So that load balancer IP. Okay. So this is the way how to analyze. So I will show you instead of Fortinet firewall, Wireshark. We have one more topic is there, Wireshark. So Wireshark, I will show how to analyze the network traffic. Okay. So we have to import the packets from here. Okay. So then we have to, sorry, we have to export here, not import. From the firewall, we have to export. In the Wireshark tool, we have to import. Okay. So as I said, even Fortinet firewall is integrated with Wireshark capability. There is no need to go to Wireshark tool also. So far it is captured 2 packets. So that means this in this interface, port 4 I selected. In this interface, so less number of the traffic or flows or packets are going on, are coming. So let's go and we can change one more. WAN interface example, start capture. So see WAN internet interface. Internet interface, so much of the traffic it is going on. So you can see it is showing so many packets are going on, increasing. All this packet, every packet size is example 500 KB for taking also. It is too much of the storage is required. Example, this is one of the packet. So this packet example, one packet is costing, not costing, one packet is bandwidth utilization, maybe 500 KB. Now 50,000 packets we captured, 50,000 into 5 KB. All those things it will go and it will store in the firewall. Okay. So this is the time when the packet, okay, so went source IP. In this scenario, now load balancer IP, we have to shortlist. Example, our load balancer IP is 172.30.72.33. This is our load balancer IP. Okay. Destination IP is now SIM tool IP. Example, maybe source IP is our internal IP. Destination IP is ISM IP. So source IP, example 172.30.72.33. This is the one, apply now. Destination IP. Example, this is load balancer IP. Example only I'm saying. Okay. So what I have done now, I went to WAN interface. Whatever traffic is going from internal to external. Now I'm troubleshooting why logs are not going. Where is the issue? I'm debugging now. Okay. Destination IP, example, SIM tool IP. SIM tool IP take our private IP address range. Is there any private IP address? No. Just take any one of the IP, that's fine. Just sample only I'm giving. Take example, this is the IP. Apply. So now in between these two, now source IP is the load balancer IP, destination IP is this one. Whether TCP 3-way handshake is come timeline. So this is the total overall packets it went in between load balancer and also SIM tool. Okay. So timeline, headers, source IP and also destination IP information. So 172.30. Okay, let me select IP address also. Give me any one IP I will select. Yeah. So timeline here, address information, source IP, destination IP, these two. Okay. So this is the source IP, destination IP, port number. So which port number we have to filter out for logs troubleshooting purpose? Load balancer logs, if you want to troubleshoot, what is the port number we have to select? Load balance. What is the why I'm doing this packet capture now? To troubleshoot and to identify why load balancer logs are not going to SIM tool. Where is the issue? Whether issue is there in the application layer of the TCP IP layer, or issue is there in the internet layer of the TCP IP layer, or issue is there in the transport layer of the TCP IP layer, or issue is there in the network interface layer of the TCP IP layer. How many layers are there in TCP IP?
4 layers.
4 layers.
4 layers. So we are troubleshooting now. This is will not do actually. This is SIM implementation we are doing now. Why load balancer logs are not reflecting in SIM tool? For that one, I'm doing one of the troubleshooting now. Theoretical we completed already, right? So part of syslog server integration, one of the log integration method, right? So I said in that particular topic, in case logs are not reflecting in the SIM tool, so do the packet capture. Here I'm doing the packet capture now. Not only firewall, any log sources logs are not reflecting in SIM tool. We have to come here and we have to select the which interfaces that logs are going, obviously WAN interface. Okay. So then we have to provide the source IP. Source IP means log source IP. Destination IP means SIM tool IP. So example, I selected these two. And what is the port number we have to select? For load balancer logs integration method, what is the log integration method? What the log integration syslog? What the port number we have to filter out now? Yes. Now once you are selecting 514, then we'll come to know. So whether TCP three-way handshake is completed or not, packet is redropping, or packet is dropping, or packet is a reset. This is the way how to troubleshoot. Who will do all these analysis, or who will do troubleshooting of all these? SM tool implementation guy. SM tool implementation guy he will do. But even though this is entire equation, even this is one of the entire equation. So in case logs are not reflecting in SIM tool, what will you do? That is one of the entire equation. Okay. So this is what, okay, filter out the port number. And here you can see already here data header is showing everything here. That's what is not reflecting here. Packet data. Packet data will be in the hexadecimal format. Hexadecimal. When you say hexadecimal, so there are different types of data formats we have. One is binary format, one is octa format, one is hexadecimal format, one is yeah, these are the couple of decimal format also. These are the couple of formats. Okay, so the packet data, it will come in the most of the hexadecimal format. That means 16. Hexa means 16. So once again, I will explain this topic where I will explain at the time Wireshark tool. Same topic. So Fortinet firewall has a capability of even so packet capture and analyzing the packets also. Nothing but they integrate with the Wireshark tool. Okay. So just I will remove the filter now. This is called filtering and querying. Whatever I am doing, this is called filtering and querying. So debug flow. So number of packets we capture example 500. So all these things it will come. What are packet captures we are doing? So from where to where that packet and what is the, so we have to analyze everything here. Which flag we are using? Okay. This is the way we have to analyze. So implementation basically, this one implement, whatever I'm teaching, it is implementation level. So that is about overall network related. Okay. So network, why we will use network? Interface configuration, DNS server integration, proxy server integration. Next one is routing part and troubleshooting purpose also. These are the 4 to 5 reasons we can use network related tab. Everything implementation only. Next one is policies and objects tab. Before going to policies and objects tab, I want to explain the security profiles. Okay. So why we have to go to the security profiles first? Anyone?
Because we have to enable security profiles and policies once we're doing it.
Perfect. That's excellent answer. Yes, right. So first we have to, normally from this example, if I will give one of the hardware device to you, example firewall, from the scratch, if you want to implement, first we will assign one of the management IP. So this is we will assign. After that, we have to go to network and we'll configure the interfaces, integrating with the DNS server, integrating the proxy server, integrating with the SNMP server, and so on. So that is what you have to do. Later, you have to come to security profiles, not policies. First, we have to configure the security profile. Later, we have to go to policies. Okay, policies is the final one. So first, that's why we can discuss policies first. Later, we'll go to policy. Sorry, first we'll go to discuss about security profile. There later, we'll go to policies and objects. So first profile name is antivirus profile. Antivirus profile. Okay, these profiles are very, very important, guys. Without profiles, FortiGate firewall is a dummy device. It will not do anything. Without these profiles configuration, firewall is a dummy device. When you say dummy device, it will not work at all. It will not block anything. So that's why security profile is one of the very, very important tab to block any attacks. So just click on antivirus monitor. So there are different types of profiles normally configured here. How many profiles configured? 4. By default, when you purchase the firewall, default rule will come. Remaining 3 it is showing, right? Those are all customized one. Customized one. In the SIM tool also, we discussed about 2 different types of rules. What are the 2 different types of rules? In SIM tool also, correlation rules will configure 2 different types of correlation rules. What are the 2 different correlation rules?
Customized rules.
Customized correlation rules. Second one, default correlation
Default.
rules. Yeah, default meaning a vendor itself he will provide. Customized meaning a based on our business requirement we have to go and we have to configure. That is the difference. Okay, so by default, whenever you purchase the firewall, default tool will come, this one. So remaining 3, they have configured customization wise based on their business requirement wise. Just click on default. Now you can go and we can see. Now we are discussing about antivirus profile, antivirus security profile. So name of the profile is default. Comments, scan files and block viruses. What our files are entering as inbound traffic and outbound traffic. Example, so email attachment, web browsing application, file accessing related, removal devices, and so on. Okay. Antivirus scan is block. They are blocking or monitoring or allowing? Blocking. Whenever any malware related files are entering into the organization level or going out of the organization level as a inbound traffic and outbound traffic, block it automatically. That is what Fortinet vendor is suggesting us. Okay. So monitor, we should not keep it. Why? Because it will only monitor. So if really files contains malware, it will just give the alert notification only, but it will not block. That's why you have to keep block. Next one, feature set flow based and proxy based. So in case if you are using proxy in your organization level, you can put a proxy based. Otherwise, you can put a flow based. Anything is fine. In case our organization level, we are integrating proxy, then you can put proxy based. If you don't integrate with the proxy, then you can put flow based. So inspected protocols. So why they are inspecting only these protocols? We discussed more than, so 50 protocols or 25 protocols. Why they are inspecting only these protocols? Anyone? Now we are discussing antivirus or anti-malware scanning and blocking related profile. So we discussed approximate 25 to 30 protocols, 4 tons protocol.
Only these ports and these protocols are being activated in the firewall connected interface.
Okay. Not exactly. Any other? No, that is wrong answer. So basically, drive-by downloads. Drive-by downloads mean which protocol we will use? HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, that is one of the way option how the malwares will come. Drive-by downloads. Okay, so drive-by downloads is nothing but downloading something from the internet. What the protocol we will use? Either HTTP or HTTPS. So this is by drive-by downloads. Related malware, incoming or outgoing. Second one is through email attachment. So for more messaging related protocols, SMTP, POP3, IMAP. So these three protocols. Okay, so that is another type of malware category of the sources of the malware. One is driver downloads, first one. Second one is so phishing email malware attachments through messaging protocols. These three. Third one is removable devices. So remaining all these are removable devices. Okay, so these are all the ways how the malwares will come. So everything you can select and just you can block. Sources of the malware, very basic topic we discussed. So phishing email attachments. Okay, so driver downloads, removable devices. All these are inspected protocols we have to monitor and we have to block. Because if are enabling these protocols, malware will come through these protocols only. What our sources just now we discussed. That's why, so it is inspecting these protocols only. Next one, APT. What is APT? APT.
Advanced prevention threat.
Advanced prevention threat. That's right. Solution or attack?
It's a solution.
APT is an attack. ATP solution. Advanced persistent threat. This one.
Persistent threat. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Advanced persistent threat. So protection. Indirectly, this is ATP. APT, advanced persistent threat, is an attack. An attack, sorry, an attack. Okay. So here they are saying APT protection, meaning here ATP, advanced threat prevention. Okay. So options. So indirectly unknown category of the attacks, behavioral pattern category of the attacks also it is blocking. Okay. So content disarm and reconstruction in case any files has a harmful and also reconstructing or replication is possible, it has to go and it has to block. Okay. So allow transmission when an error occurs. Original file destination, 40 sandbox or file quarantine or discard. Whether that file malicious or abnormal or suspicious, whether it has to go and analyze in the 40 sandbox or file quarantine or discard. So obviously it is matching to signature, it has to discard. Otherwise, so it has to verify through file 40 sandbox. Okay. 40 sandbox, they have their own sandboxing environment is there where the files can be analyzed using static analysis of the malware and dynamic analysis of the malware. Okay, so treat Windows executable in case any file is downloaded. If it is executable, those files also can be blocked. Okay, because already put block everything here. So these are all the ways now how the malware is entering into the organization level. One is content of the packets disarm, meaning here harmful, or reconstruction, a replication of the files, or reconstructing of the malware as a newly. In that scenario, it has to discard and treat Windows executable in case any end user is clicking on the phishing email malware attachments or maybe driver downloads. It has to treat that one as executable and block it automatically. Okay. Next one is in email attachment as a viruses. In case any phishing email contains any malware attachment, so block it automatically. Okay. So in such a way, you have to understand. Next one, send files to Portis Sandbox for inspection. You are suspecting couple of files, maybe malware contains, malware sample submission. Even we have seen in the SOFO CDR also. If you don't know one of the file contains the malware or not, we have to submit the sample to Portis Sandbox, not Portis, a SOFO Sandbox, and they will analyze. Here also that option is available. Okay. Even SOAP CDR, whatever malware detection part of threat prevention policy we discussed, same as it is applicable to here also. Okay. Threat prevention, one of the policy we discussed part of SOAP CDR. Hope you remember. So same thing is applicable here also. There also malware detection and prevention. Here also malware detection and prevention. File types, any files, not only just suspicious files, any files are all supported files, meaning here .pdf, .doc, .exe, okay, .jpeg, and so on. So do not submit files matching types. Okay, do not submit file matching. Okay, by default, you can select everything. Use Porty Sandbox database. Already anyway, Porty Sandbox option is available here. In case if you are using Porty Sandbox, then you can enable this one with the signature based. Send files to port NDR for inspection. What is NDR? What is NDR? NDR. Yesterday we discussed NDR.
Network detection.
Network detection response. That's correct. Network detection and response. MDR, managed detection response. EDR, endpoint detection response. XDR, extended detection response. MDR plus NDR plus EDR equivalent to XDR. Yes. So firewall has a Fortinet firewall has a capability of NDR also, network detection response. Whatever files are coming, NDR tool, nothing but Porty NDR tool, it can go and it can analyze and it can block it. Just enable this one also. Block. Include mobile malware protection in case in our organization level, company is providing mobiles to us. Nothing but us means employees. If company or organization is providing mobiles to the employees, mobile protections also we have to enable in case those mobiles are getting compromised by malwares. Okay. Virus outbreak prevention, meaning here, so whatever replications are happening, and also additionally, FortiGuard outbreak prevention database, external malware block list, EMS threat feeds. So these are all the different ways how these malwares are integrated to our antivirus profile. Threat intelligence feed. Okay. Threat intelligence feed. External malware block list. If you are enabling all those, whatever malicious content for unknown category of the attacks as a malware is entering, it has to block it automatically. So it is one type of behavioral pattern. So this is signature based pattern, Porty Sandbox. This is the behavioral pattern, machine learning and artificial intelligence. Okay. So that is about antivirus profile configuration. In the similar way, we have to go and we have to configure all these profiles. By default, they provided this one. I enabled so many now. By default, they did not provide all this. Now I enabled everything. This is called customization now. Default, they did not provide any all these. Now I provided everything. This is called customization. As per my organization, we are doing. Okay. This also they disabled previously. This also they disabled. Okay. Okay. So that is called customize. Now I have done customization. This customized tool. Now I'll put to okay default tool. If I'm working for now TCS, I'll put okay TCS antivirus profile or antivirus monitor or antivirus block profile. I'll give the name now. Okay. So default. So now, okay, so that is about overall antivirus profile configuration related to malware infection or malware inspection. Next one, web filter. Did we discuss anywhere web filter in SOAP CDR? Did we discuss anywhere web filter in SOAP CDR?
I think
Web control is there, right? App control and web control.
yeah.
Web control and app control is nothing but web filter in Fortinet firewall. That time if I told you. So URL filtering, web filtering or content filtering also applicable in firewall. Did I say or not?
Yeah, the
Yes. So web filtering is nothing but here filtering of the websites, block listing of the websites and whitelisting of the websites. That is also for CDR is supporting. There itself, I told you total 3 tools we can do web filtering, app control or web control. One is EDR tool, one is firewall tool, one is proxy tool. Web control also called as okay URL filtering, app control, or even content filtering. Inter question, what do you mean content filtering? Whitelisting of the websites, block listing of the website is called content filtering. Okay. Now just click on default. Here, what will anyone can just guess what are the information we can see here? Just guess it. What information we can see in the web filter? Anyone?
what are the web applications is blocked.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, right. Whatever applications are websites of the category of the websites. Okay, those information we can see. So example in SOPO CDR, we discuss adult content related, drugs related, alcohol related, terrorist related, sports related, games related, news related, travel agency related, business related. Same thing is applicable to here as well. Okay, so name default web filtering, feature set flow based or proxy based. If you are using proxy, then you have to put proxy based. If you don't have proxy server, we have flow based. Okay, guard category based filter. So just we can enable now local categories. So these are all the local categories of the website. So many categories you can see now. These are all the category of the applications or websites. One is a drug related. Same thing is showing in SOFO CDR also. Hacking related. Okay. Illegal or unethical related, discrimination, explicit violence, extremist. Okay. So these are all the couple of category of the okay crypto mining, terrorism, child sexual abuse. So which one we have to enable, which one we have to block. So it depends. It depends from organization to organization. Okay. Example, maybe couple of organizations, they will allow social networking websites. So in that scenario, they will allow here. So adult materials or dating related and so on. Even there are different things basically. Medicine they allowed, health and wellness is allowed, education is allowed. So this one we have to go and we have to see which one is allowed and which one we have to block. Okay, based on our organization policy. Based on our organization policy. Business oriented, search engine. Yeah, social networking. I'm looking for this one only. Social networking, they allowed. Example, I want to block this one. So here I don't edit option, unfortunately. So I want to block social networking websites. I'll block it here. Instead of follow, I'll put block. Whoever end users, they are trying to access any social networking websites like YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, nobody can access the website now. So this is called web filtering or content filtering or URL filtering. So these are all categories basically. So these are all categories under application control, individual application we can see. These are category of the websites. Okay. So that is about web filter. White listing of the websites, block listing of the websites. Allow list, monitor list, block list, warning list. So these are the 4 different categories of the so respective web filter. One is allow, one is monitor, one is block, one is warning. Okay. One is authenticate. Authenticate means clean. Next one, video filter. Video filter meaning here, whenever some example, I allowed social networking category of the websites. One of the user is watching YouTube. Maybe example, whenever they are getting leisure time or free time, they will watch YouTube or couple of other related, even maybe training related videos also, right? In that scenario, if I want to filter out video, nothing but if everybody is watching YouTube or any other videos in the organization, obviously our network bandwidth or our internet speed will reduce. Every employee in the organization level, if they are watching any videos, obviously our speed of the internet will be reduced. So now if you are using video filter option, what we can do, okay, we can give permission to the end user, we can satisfy them, but whoever is watching more than 1 GB of the file, those videos have to block it automatically. Whoever is more than 500 MB video, it has to block. So I'm giving some of the condition to them. I'm satisfying the employee, and also I'm providing some condition to them. You can watch less than 500 MB related videos, not more than 500 MB. Okay. This is what one of the customers asked when I was in Europe. This one of the customer asked. So they want to configure more than 1 GB related videos, they have to block it for automatically. Less than 1 GB, so they have to enable. Nothing but they have to allow. That is where we can do that option, video filter. Video filter. So we have to specify the name of the video or name of the respective rule. Then we have to specify the bandwidth utilization. Unfortunately, Portinet is not supporting that much capability related to video filtering. Okay, what a granularity I'm saying now. When you say granularity, okay, drill down, in depth. Okay, either we can enable the video allowing option, either we can block. But so conditions wise, it is not supporting by Portinet firewall. One of the drawback is there, but Palo Alto is supporting. Just now again, one of the scenario. Okay, so if it is more than 1 GB file, if you want to block organization level, we can block. If less than 1 GB file, we can allow. Palo Alto is supporting. But what is the Portinet firewall is supporting? You can block YouTube related videos, but you can allow LinkedIn learning related portal related videos, allowing. YouTube videos you can block, LinkedIn learning videos you can allow for learning something. Example, certified ethical hacker certification you want to do. Okay, you can go and you can watch in the LinkedIn learning portal or maybe any other portals. So learning related things you can allow and blocking related thing you can block. Where we can do that one here itself. Okay, Fortinet is doing that option. Next one, DNS filtering. DNS filtering, web filter, app control, almost three are same as it is. DNS filter, meaning here, what are the domains we have to allow? What are the domains we have to block? Okay. What are the domains we have to allow and what are the domains we have to block? So example, any phishing email is coming. So that phishing email is malicious one. Where we have to block domain name? Where we have to block domain name? Where will block IP address?
Firewall.
Firewall. Where will block domain name? I given already all these four.
Web filter.
Domain name we can block in the firewall or DNS server.
Yes.
Okay. What about hash value?
EDR.
EDR. What about the malicious URL?
Proxy.
Yes, proxy or firewall. So all these are interior questions, guys. Where you will block IP address? This basic question. What is the answer? So answer is firewall. Where you will block domain name, DNS server or firewall? Where you will block malicious URL, proxy or firewall? Where you block hash value? So EDR. So all these are interior questions only. I given notes also. You can check in the Excel sheet. Okay. So now these are the different types of domains. One is allow, one is monitor, one is redirect or block. Redirect or block. So total three. But in the web filter, what are the things we have seen? Allow, block, monitor, authenticate. Nothing but clean. So in the DNS side, allow, monitor, and redirect. So these are all the different things. Okay. Okay, I want to say one thing, guys. Uh, Especially if you are going for the firewall dedicated vacancy, it's one of the entire question. In the web filtering, what are the different types of, okay, so status messages we can see? What are the different types of status messages we can see? We can see allow, we can see monitor, we can see block, we can see warning, we can see authenticate. Okay, in the Palo Alto, we can see allow, monitor, block, reset, packet drop. Okay, this is one of the entire question. Okay, URL filtering especially. URL filtering side they will ask. In the firewall interview, dedicated to firewall interview, if you are going, they will ask this one. What is the status of the URL filtering whenever any inbound traffic is going and outbound traffic is coming? I don't think so. Copy paste will work. Yeah. So this is the status of the URL filtering. Otherwise, action. I can put action, not status. Actions. Actions of the URL filtering in the Fortinet firewall. So these are all actions. One is allow, one is monitor, one is block, one is warning, one is authenticate. See how many things you have to remember. So many. Web filter also different options it is showing. It is not in the unique in nature for every security profile configuration. So in the DNS side, only 3 are there. So allow, monitor, and only block. These 3 only. Okay. So these are all the domains. One is alternative beliefs. Okay. Second, abortion. Third one is adult material. Fourth one, advocacy, gambling, pornography, dating, weapons. These are all the different types of, okay, so domains. It is similar to like web filter, right? So which websites we have to allow and which websites or domains we have to block. Drugs, hacking. This is what I'm saying theoretical way. Now it's a practical. Next one is app control or application control. This is almost similar to like a web filter and also DNS filter. So these are all the applications wise. So far, how many applications are supporting? It is supporting altogether. They did not give total overall number. Palo Alto is supporting 2,800 plus applications. 2,800 plus applications. Okay. So at the time of theoretical part, I told you. So Palo Alto firewall is blocking based on application. Remaining all other firewalls blocking on which approach?
IP.
Yeah, port and protocol. We have to specify the port and protocol also. Okay, so all other firewalls, it is working as serial processing. That is one of the definition. Second definition is, so all the firewalls is working on a concept called port and protocol based blocking, except Palo Alto. Third one is Palo Alto has user ID, app ID, and content ID. So these all 3 IDs are supporting. No other vendor is supporting these 3 IDs. That's what we discussed theoretical way. So if you want to configure additionally, okay, if you want to allow, example, for CEO or CISO or senior manager or board of director, I want to allow facebook.com. But remaining all other employees, I want to block Facebook. That much granularity. In Palo Alto, directly we can go and we can specify the source IP, destination IPs of the senior directors, and also we can enable the facebook.com for only that particular senior managers or board of directors of the company people. Remaining all other people, it has to block it automatically. In the policy itself, we can configure. But in the Fortinet firewall or any other firewall except Palo Alto, we have to do application control additional thing also. We have to configure additionally. Okay. So that time itself, I told you. So we can configure in the Portinet and the other firewalls also, but additional control or additional configuration we have to do. So that additional configuration, what is that? App control. App control. So right now it is supporting these many applications, 153 business applications. Out of 153, 6 are cloud applications. To overall 267 collaboration applications, 16 of 267 is cloud applications. Game applications are 86, all are on-premise. Industrial is 2071. Out of 2071, 36 are belongs to cloud. So these are all the different as category of the applications. I think altogether it is supporting more than 4,000. Yeah, 3,000 to 4,000 in between. Okay, this category of the application. Okay, so where we have to configure this one, we have to configure once again in the policy. Policy means rule, policies and objects tab. First, we have to configure application control here. Then we have to configure the policy objects. Next one is IPS. Intrusion prevention means IPS. IPS. Now you can compare theoretical and practical. Not about theoretical and practical. Just you can see why we are called next generation firewall. It is doing so many features. It has a features of antivirus scanning. It has a features of web filtering. It has a features of video filtering. It has functions of domain blocking, DNS capability. It has a functions of app control, IPS capability. Okay, proxy capability also. Proxy also somewhere will be there. Proxy capability, WAF capability, web application firewall capability. Now compare theoretical and practical now. So what is the difference between next generation firewall and proxy? So next generation firewall will do a lot more features as compared to proxy. Proxy is a subset of next generation firewall. So next generation firewall will do all these features you have to explain now. Antivirus scanning, web filter scanning, video filter scanning, DNS filtering scanning, WAF scanning, IPS scanning, and so on. But proxy means just only either allowing of the websites or blocking of the websites. That is one of the interview question. Second interview question is, what is the difference between firewall and also network IDS and network IPS? This is also one of the popular interview question. Now you can see IPS is inbuilt feature is there already, part of this one. In the firewall itself, IDS IPS option is there. Nothing but IDS IPS is a subset of firewall now. IDS IPS subset of firewall. Firewall will do a lot more features as compared to IDS IPS. That is one of the interview question. One more interview question. What is the difference between next generation firewall and web application firewall? You can see web application firewall option also there. Okay. Web application firewall will take care of only dedicated to application layer attacks. That is nothing but OASP top 10. But firewall will do all these 7 layers attacks detection as well as blocking. That is the difference. Okay. So that's why next generation firewall is one of the very, very must tool in the every organization. Every organization has to purchase next generation firewall. It's a mandatory. In the similar way, network level, we have to purchase next generation firewall. It's a mandatory and must. In the EDR, on the endpoint level, we have to purchase EDR or anti-malware or antivirus. This is must one. These two tools every organization has to purchase. Remaining all other options. SOC may be option. Okay. Web application firewall may be option. Army encryption may be option. DLP may be option. But these two tools are mandatory for every organization. Okay. So coming back now, IPS. So default, I will go now. So here IPS signatures. There are 3 different types of severity. One is so severity yellow color, like a medium, orange color high, and critical. Critical, high, medium. Even low also there, that is green color. Okay. So name of the IPS example, whatever company name you can give, Preventive critical attacks, block it automatically. Okay. So disable. So everything, whenever any signature it is matching, it has to block it automatically. Botnet CNC, botnet command and CNC means command and control. Scan outgoing connections to botnet sites. Whenever user is trying to access any malicious websites, it has to block it automatically. One of the practical scenario is there. One of the end user's machine is got compromised and it is keep on communicating to command and control server. It is one of the use cases in the IPS. I'm repeating, one of the end user machine is got compromised by virus or any other malware. One of the end user system or server is got compromised virus or malware. Okay, so and it is keep on communicating to command and control server. This is IPS related use case. That is the one, this one. Scan outgoing connections to be botnet sites, disable, nothing but block. Any system is got compromised. And after getting compromised, as per cyberrkcyber process, if it is communicating to C2C server of the hacker or intruder, it has to block. That is the meaning. This is one of the use case. We can discuss this one also in future. This is one of the investigation. One of the investigation. Remember that one. That time I will ask all these. Now, where we can see IPS signature, click on view IPS signatures. So far, I think it is supporting more than 21,000, I think, or 11,000. Click on IPS signatures. So you can see 15,872 IPS signature. Theoretical part and practical compare now. So we discussed about signature-based detection mechanism, behavioral pattern mechanism, part of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So behavioral pattern or machine learning, it's based on behavior, actions, or habits. Tool will understand and it will give the alert notification. Signature based meaning here, every attack has one dedicated ID will be there. That is called signature ID. If that attack is matching to signature ID, automatically it will block. That's called signature. You can see these are all 15,872. So what we provided signature based definition. Every vendor, it will maintain the database for the different types of the attacks or signatures. That is called signature based. Now you can see practically 15,872 signatures is supporting by Fortinet vendor in their database. That is called signature based. That's what we said in the theoretical part, right? Give me 1 second. Got it, right? So these are all signatures now. Every vendor, that may be antivirus or EDR vendor, DLP vendor, HDS HFS vendor, file integrity monitoring vendor. Okay, so DLP vendor, WAF vendor, IDS IPS vendor. Okay, SM tool vendor also. Every vendor will maintain the signature in their database. Whenever the similar type of pattern of the signature is matching, it will block it automatically. Example, one of the end user, he went and he tried to do, what is XSRF attack? What is XSRF attack?
Cross-site,
Cross site? What is
process,
cross site? Cross site request forgery. CSRF, XSRF, it's one of the entire question. Already existing connection, attacker will use some of the malicious content and he will redirect and he will do the forgery. And finally, he will gain the unauthorized access or sensitive data exposure. Anti-CSRF tokens we have to use, parameterized queries, content security policy implementation, input validation implementation. That is XSRF attack. So example, one of the user is trying to access this website. Okay, in that scenario, what firewall will do, it will check in my database whether this particular signature is available or not. It is available automatically, it will block it. So because it's a block. For every signature it will block only, not allow. So this is also better. We can do block. Every signature we have to block. Okay. So these are all the signatures. These are malicious content. R&D team or the Portinet vendor, they are maintaining the signatures regularly. So today we can see now 15,872. Maybe after 1 month we can see 20,000 because daily they will update the signature. What new attacks are coming? Unknown attack is converted to new attack. Okay. So there are different types of severity. These signatures. One is high severity, critical severity, medium, low, informational. These are signatures are divided severity wise. Okay. So this severity, example, excess RF attack, it's a medium severity based on the color I'm saying. So example, this is one more phone related arbitrary code execution. If you are going to cursor here, it will go and it will say what is the attack name, what is summary of the attack, what is the vulnerability about, what is the severity, what is the impact, what is the recommendation we have to do. Everything it will provide. Okay. So these are all signatures, guys. Please go and validate these signatures. There is no need to remember anything. You should understand what is my signature. Now, based on the target wise, based on the operating system wise, these are all the signatures. Okay. Maybe this is applicable to both Windows and Linux. That's why count is more. Okay. This attack is applicable to both Windows and Linux. One attack is equivalent to 2 now. So that way this count is increased. Same thing is applicable to here also. Okay. This is about signatures part. Where we can see that one, click on view IPS signature. Click on view IPS signature. So whenever these signature it is matching, it will block it automatically. Otherwise, what will happen? It will generate the alert notification if it's a behavioral pattern. Okay, so that's all for today morning. Okay, so if I'll give everything today itself, you cannot understand. So evening I'll explain about this one. File filter means which files we have to allow and which files we have to block. So 7z.doc.exe and so on. So far what we discussed, I am stopping under IPS. So far, how many things we discussed? In the network, we discussed about network interfaces configuration as implementation, then DNS server integration, proxy server integration. Okay, then we also discussed about routing part, static route, multicast route, RIP route, YSPF route, BGP route, even troubleshooting or debugging or diagnostics, packet capture. So those things we discussed, it's a part of network. Okay. So in the security profiles tab, we discussed about so far antivirus or malware scanning and blocking and monitoring, web filter, content filtering, allowing, blocking, monitoring based on the category of the websites or applications wise, video filter. So based on what is the bandwidth utilization, according to that one, we can block and which videos we have to allow and which videos we have to block. DNS filtering, which domains we have to allow and which domains we have to block. Application control, same category of the application and also blocking of the applications and allowing IPS. So whenever any abnormal or malicious, suspicious activity is going on the network level as inbound traffic and outbound traffic, if it is matching to the signature, automatically IPS feature of the Portinet firewall, either it will block if it is signature based. If it is machine learning based, it will give the alert notification. Okay. So that is about overall security profiles. So remaining security profiles we can discuss about evening. Then once we are configuring the security profiles, then we have to go to the policies. This is policies. So we have to enable all those policies in this particular field, security profile field. You are configuring and you are keeping it is like a dummy device once again. We have to configure the security profiles and we have to implement in the policies. Otherwise, it will not block anything. You have configured the profile and if you don't implement here, it will not block. You have to implement here also. When you say implement, just enable. Okay. What is the last policy in firewall?
Implicit
Implicit
deny.
deny.
Yes, you can go and you can see now. Implicitly deny. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can continue evening at 6 o'clock. That's all for today morning. Any doubts you have? So I'm giving this in-depth analysis, implementation level, architect level. Only it is required for if you are applying for firewall vacancies. If you are applying for SOC vacancies, firewall is not that much. We need to learn just what is firewall, how to integrate firewall, that is more than sufficient. But in case you are applying for any firewall vacancy, you should understand about each and everything, whatever I'm saying. Okay. So this training is not only just cybersecurity SOC. In the demo, whatever I told you, this cybersecurity, okay, whatever training I'm giving, this is more than 20 vacancies we can apply. Outside institutes or organizations, what they are doing, firewall separate fee, endpoint security separate fee, SOC separate fee, vulnerability management separate fee, cloud security separate fee, and so on. In one training, just for 15,000, I'm giving this much in-depth analysis. I'm not saying I'm great. Okay, so I have to give everything, whatever knowledge I have, with the minimal cost, with the minimum cost. Okay, that's all for today morning, guys. We can continue today evening. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Recordings.
Yes, I uploaded already. Last night I already uploaded. Okay, guys. See you. Bye.